Welcome to the View from the Rock podcast. I'm your host, Ruck Daddy, and today we have a pretty full slate of things to talk about, from the Huskies to the Seahawks. You got a big weekend coming up here with UW-Oregon rivalry. I got some shout-outs to make, some happy birthdays. I don't know. Do we have to apologize to Tara Starkovich again? Hopefully not. I'm sure I'm going to hear. I'm sure I'm going to hear that one again. Let's see. Swap, how are you doing?
Doing great. We're just all kind of on the edge of our seats here for the big weekend.
Yeah, and then I almost forgot to say, we got some musical genre to get into, which is really important because it has to do with me, and what could be more important than me. Finally, we're going to finish up with Beer of the Week and the greatest Husky football players to ever grace this earth. Morgie, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm so excited. Big weekend.
Ready to piss excellence.
I wake up and do that.
Oh, yeah, shoot. That's every day.
Yeah, it's going to be the Oregon UW game is one of the biggest events of the year. Sports and non-sports. One of the biggest events of the year.
It's the biggest game in the nation.
Well, and it's the biggest game for us every year.
Well, I mean, College Game Day is going to be there, right?
Yes.
But it's this weekend. It's the biggest game in the nation.
Yes.
2 top 10 teams.
First time ever in the history of playing each other.
You've got the top two of the top 3 Heisman candidates. Your Oregon boys are coming up.
And
Do you want to?
it's going to be an amazing experience. I don't want to tell anybody about what happens. We just have fun.
Well, yeah, I got a couple things. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, I feel like you say Oregon boys a lot on the podcast. Could you
Sure.
tell us what that even means?
So the Oregon boys, I lived in Oregon from 95 to 2007. Went to college down there.
Seminal years.
What's that?
Seminal years of your life. You probably don't
yes.
even know what that means. That's
No.
fine.
How do you spell that?
Seminal.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
See, I was thinking Seminole.
Like
Oh,
a
like
Florida
the Seminoles.
Seminoles.
Yeah. So
All
I was
right.
going to spell it differently, and I would have lost.
You were ready to tomahawk chop over there.
Could I still win based on?
Us giving you the spelling, and then you see if you have a memory to remember it? Is that what you're...
No, I'm just telling you that. I mean, that's what I would have spelled it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
So anyway, we have Colin, Jeff. Whatever, you guys suck. I'm gonna get you, Rock, on the genre.
I never make mistakes. Continue.
So Colin, Jeff Vernon, Matt, Chris, who is he's a Beaver fan and best friends with Colin and Matt, so he loves when we win. Colin's brother is coming up, and my buddy Sean Eaton, and he's a
Husky fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was born in Bremerton area and then lived in Southern Oregon his whole life. So he's a Husky guy. And it's just a fun time where they come up now and we golf, maybe go to the casino.
I just know the last, few times they've been up, there was a gap there during COVID and everything was weird, but there was the game last year, which was when the game ended, they went from the greatest guys in the world to they wanted to drive home right when the game ended. To
So
Oregon.
they are horrible.
Losers.
Yes. They're pouty. They're weak mentally.
yeah.
And I tell them that all the time.
So,
And same with Ryan Healy and Josh Shimmick.
so
They think that Oregon's going to win.
yeah. So just for, I don't know, clarity or something, but you said that you lived in Oregon. You played on a basketball team with them though, right?
Yes.
All these guys?
Yes. So
Okay.
95 through 97 played with all these guys, and they're best buddies.
You won a championship together?
We won a league championship. We're in Pacific's Hall of Fame, actually.
Okay.
The Boxers.
We're the first team. Yes.
Mascot.
It's a mythical Chinese war dog.
Shut up.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
And it's not, to this point, no one's offended by it. So they're still the boxers.
That's wonderful.
And they used to have a box. We need to do. It'd be fun to have them on. We might have. Who knows? Saturday could be.
Who knows what this weekend has in store for us?
Yeah.
We might have a new episode.
Could be episode 4 that we're not even ready for.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We can record any of that. I see on our schedule here, we're going to talk about some local sports. Swap, you want to tell us about volleyball?
Volleyball's rolling along. They're 6-3, 7-3, something like that. Upper middle of the pack. We're still about 2.5 weeks out from district tournament, but we're down the home stretch there. We've got district tennis coming up, which takes place at Seahome. We went.
Sorry.
Well, I thought I was going to have to do the Heimlich on air there for a second.
We had an equipment malfunction, but the equipment was Mr. Morgenthaler's trachea.
We're good.
Yeah. Hoof.
Scratch in the throat.
We went up to a high school football game at Seahome last Saturday, and on the way in, even though I'm wearing a purple Anacortes sweatshirt, one of the greeter people there offered me some Seahome, like, beads. Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, you don't look like you're from Seahome, but would you like some beads?
And I said, I'm wearing purple.
And it just makes us hate Seahome even more.
They had little paper tickets that were green and yellow.
Ugh.
Despicable.
And then we proceeded to just dominate them.
Yeah, our football team's good.
We're good.
Ranked second in the state right now, right?
Yeah. I think that might be too low.
Yeah, Enumclaw's ahead of us. That was surprising when I looked
Well,
at it,
Ian and
right?
Claus right now got the same group of athletes that we have. They're good in all sports.
And
Got it.
Tumwater's
Tumwater.
good and everything, and then Linden.
Yeah.
So
You
we'll
know,
see. Hey,
yeah.
2 weeks from now, Anacortes Linden league title.
Yeah, absolutely. I see the other thing on there is something I guess I should talk about, Hole in the Wall. It's a cross-country meet we have every year this time. Huge meet. There's like 175 schools there, 5,000 runners. It's kind of an all-day thing. And it was hot. It was dusty. At one point, before our final races of the day, I went back over to the tent and I laid down in the grass in the shade because I was done.
So I was there last year.
Yeah.
Why was it more dusty this year?
I don't think it was dustier. Last year maybe it was a little smoky. This year it was maybe hotter though. I don't know. Saturday was hot. Ooh, it was like 80s.
Yeah, it was.
was
No, it was
80s.
80 degrees in Bellingham.
That's right. We were out at, we'll talk about this later in the podcast, we're outside at Stemma Brewing. And that, boy, what a hidden little gem they have up there.
Yeah, great spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a great day. It's fun to see all those competitors, all the high-level athletes that are there. Top performer was probably Parker. Mong was second for the boys' elite race. And, yeah.
So
it was
what
a
is
good time.
that running? What's his time?
The time there was like 15:11 or something, or 15:14. Not as fast as time, but that wasn't a course that people were... Normally, it's a fast course where you get your best time, but not that day. Yeah.
And who was the first place guy from? Jesuit?
No, the first place guy was from Bozeman. He's ranked number 7 in the nation.
So you got Bozeman guys coming out to Hole in the Wall.
Oh, you got guys from Montana, California, Idaho. I felt like there might have been a team that was even further than that. Last year, I think there might have been a girl that came from Alabama, maybe.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like one of the elite races every year on the West Coast.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, it's a good time. They have
In
food
Marysville.
trucks and
Oh, it's
No,
right next to
Smoky
the
Point.
golf course or the golf course, right?
no, that's Twilight.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, this is over there.
Oh yeah,
It's Lakewood High School.
Yeah, Lakewood.
Yeah.
You're down by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
That's
One
right.
of my favorite spots.
I know it's one of your favorite spots.
Hey, we got some shout outs that we need to make here.
Well, first off, we missed one of our loyal listeners' birthdays, Tara Starkovich. Bless her. She's awesome.
She might be our number one fan.
Yeah.
We're
Despite
trying
the
to
abuse
decide,
that we hurl at her.
well,
Yeah.
we're trying to decide if she's 1, 2, or 3.
I think if we're not careful, she's not going to be a fan of ours anymore.
So Tara had a birthday. I think she's 46, maybe 47.
So are
I
you
don't
not
know
sure?
the
'Cause,
exact answer.
Okay, because there is an answer on the sheet.
I
You're
know.
just not sure if that's right.
I know. I went low.
Well, I was going to say you should have just
Whatever
went
that means.
37. Just 37, you know? That would have been good. We have another birthday on
Oh,
there, though,
Pat's
too.
birthday.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Oh, Sunday or Monday?
Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah.
You're going to
so
be 50.
Epic weekend.
2.
Wow.
I
We
know.
have all these birthdays this week.
Yeah.
There's like 7 that we know.
It's a big, it's serious. It's been a big, like, 8-day stretch of birthdays.
Fantini Nick turned 40 on Monday. Had a big golf trip.
My brother-in-law turned something on last Saturday. I think the same day as cousin Andy.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. I think we said this last
Can
time,
you
and we still
estimate?
couldn't.
I'm mid-40s. I don't know. Like, you know.
He's got that baby face. I think we had this conversation last time, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So on there, we have a couple things that I have no idea what
Okay.
those are. So
Okay.
feel free to tell me about what those two things are.
Secret podcast update. We have the venue locked up, which is the Anchor. Talked to the owner, Jeff, and actually yesterday, and we're locked in. We have a date for the Secret podcast, Ruck.
I think we found a date that works around everyone's busy
Unless
schedules.
you're going to be in Australia during Christmas,
Or are you thinking about getting
because
tickets?
everyone wants to know when you're going.
It's summer there.
I mean, that would be a great time to go.
Oh, that would be so good.
It'll be worth it.
Oh,
You guys could find someone to be the host and do it all without me.
we would just do it remote because you would take all the equipment.
You know, I think at that point we'd just be on our laptops doing a little Zoom action. But I see there's something else about a mailbag here in our list.
Well, hold on. We haven't
Oh.
done the date yet.
Oh, December 22nd.
Oh, did I say that?
I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying, yep, that's it.
But say it again.
December 22nd
So that should
at
be
the Anchor.
etched into people's memories now.
So it's going to be 1 o'clock to whenever we end.
yes.
You know, if I just have this visual in my head that it's almost like, now I can't, It's a Wonderful Life. It's snowing outside. We're in the same bar that Jimmy, whatever his name is, and Stewart.
George Bailey.
Yeah, George Bailey, thank you. Goes into where he's contemplating his life and he meets the angel. That's the kind of visual I get.
Some poor schmuck is going to wander into that bar that day and hear our podcast, and it's going to change his life.
Yeah,
It's going to be, I can't wait.
Yeah.
100%. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Like 7 times. But I didn't know the name. George Bailey.
It was George Bailey, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah, it's one of those
Thank
movies
you.
we watch every year.
Yes, we do.
Hey, mailbag. I don't know what this is. Honestly.
So we've had a lot of people, as our digital footprint expands, have come to us and said things like, "Hey, why don't you talk about this?" or "Why don't you talk about that?" And we've had some great ideas. So I thought, let's just start a mailbag. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, if you have a question you want us to answer, if you have an opinion that you want us to opine, reach out. You know how to get a hold of us. I don't think there's many listeners out there that don't know how to get a hold of us. And we will have a mailbag segment on the next episode, which could be, depending on what happens this weekend, our next episode could be the Halloween edition of View from the Rock.
Yeah, and depending on how quickly the questions pour in, that probably is going to affect how quickly the mailbag episode comes out, right? I would imagine.
I just got a text from Tara.
Is she listening to us
Is she
right
listening
now?
live?
No, I'm just joking.
It's not possible. Oh my gosh.
Got you, Rock.
Oh,
Wow. You are so good at that. You got me so good. Hey, so it's time to get in the meaty portion of our show here. We're talking about musical genre. And, You know, it's always tough sometimes to think, hey, what's the musical thing going to be like this week? But we've chosen songs and albums from the year that I, being Ruck, was born, 1988. So I guess I'm going to get an education here. Is that what's gonna happen?
We were talking about musical genre, and we thought, you know, there's so many things that Ruck doesn't know, and what would it be like to be born in that year, and what is the snapshot of the culture of the time to know how someone that year grows up not seeing movies like Animal House
Or Roadhouse.
or Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Roadhouse.
You just did this year after the podcast.
We found out last
and Right
night.
and Wrongs.
We found out last night that one of the main characters in Roadhouse lives in Cedar Woolley.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that part of it. We just know that one of our loyal listeners knows him, right?
Yeah,
But he lives in Woolley.
Wow.
that's amazing. He was the guy.
What about Breakfast Club?
I've seen that. I mean, I think I've probably seen the television version of that. So there's a lot of stuff bleeped out or not
Yeah.
included. Probably not the same.
I can't. I mean,
Like
this
the
is,
first time I saw Ferris Bueller's Day was the television version, which is definitely not the same.
So Mr. Morgenthaler, back to 1988 albums.
There we go.
I think, what if we alternate and I pick one of my favorites from 88 and then you pick one of your favorites?
Okay. You're going first.
Okay. Well, I don't want to take one of yours, but how about And Justice for All? Metallica.
Oh.
Had the song came up, was it the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago where you talked about seeing Metallica play One
Yes.
live, and One is off that album.
That's one of my best live performances ever. Watching Hetfield and then hearing that at the beginning. We were there together. We just didn't know.
And do you remember the video where they had like all some 70s war movie?
Yeah.
And they were flashing back to that, and it was pretty intense.
So they just played last weekend?
Metallica?
Yeah.
Did they?
With Metallica, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. It was that
Oh, yeah, that one down in California somewhere, right?
Iron Maiden.
Oh, my gosh.
80. We have a loyal listener, Ross. We're going to talk about Ross a little bit later too, but he had a friend go, and I have a couple people that went. Amazing. But so Metallica played. Yes, that is an album that I think Ruck knows.
Yeah. Know it well. Love that.
Yeah.
Love Metallica. You know, the internet tells me that this was actually the first album in which their new bassist, Jason Newsted, played for them after the death of Cliff Burton.
Yeah, Cliff Burton died in a bus accident somewhere in Europe, I think Germany. And then
Was
Jason,
that on the way to a show?
they were on tour, and there was some kind of urban myth where they had flipped coins for a better bunk, and he won.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why you were almost on Jeopardy.
Well, I don't know, but he was replaced with Jason Newsted, who was there forever, and now who's their bassist now? Somebody named Trujillo, maybe?
Yes, and he's used to play for Ozzy,
Yeah.
and he showed up to his son's performance with all of Metallica. Imagine that.
Well, and in that documentary, isn't it The Monster Within? Something like that. You kind of see just a little bit of Jason Newsted, and he basically wants nothing to do with the band.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, my formative years as a Metallica fan, Jason Newsted was their bassist.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. This is one of my top 20 albums of all time. For me, that's a different episode. Def Leppard, Hysteria.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's
Dude, that's one of the best albums
a
ever.
great call right there.
Like, they're all just bangers on that album.
Yep.
Yep.
And even the song Hysteria, you have Rocket, Love Bites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you just run down the song list? I don't have it in front of me.
I don't either.
Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have asked you that.
Well,
I'll
no,
look it
put
up.
you on the spot there. But so can I go back to one of mine now?
Yeah.
We've got Open Up and Say Ah.
Oh, Poison.
Yeah, and I just opened up the track list on that one. So I'm not going to read them all, but we got Nothing But a Good Time. We have Your Mama Don't Dance.
Oh,
So
I
is
love
that a
one.
cover?
That's a cover of a Kenny Loggins song, believe it or not.
It sounds like it's like in the 50s.
Uh,
Your mama don't dance.
that's the
Do that.
one, yeah.
I'll Google.
You got Fallen Angel, remember that song?
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the classic freaking 80s
No,
hairband ballad.
it's not on there.
It is.
What?
Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
You know what?
Wow.
Your Mama Don't Dance wasn't just Kenny Loggins. It was Loggins and Messina.
Was it Loggins and Messina?
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap.
Okay, you ready for mine?
I am.
Okay, GNR Lies.
Oh, man. So when we were talking yesterday, we thought Appetite for Destruction was 1988.
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was 1988, but it actually was released in 87.
And then GNR Lies. So their album, the one song that is the greatest, it could be top 10 for some people. Patience.
Yeah, it was off of GNR Lies. Do you remember the video for that?
So
I don't even know if I know that song.
A lot of whistling.
So this is
Oh, I
why I
love
love
whistling
you.
songs.
Oh yeah, he does a good whistle.
Axel can whistle.
And then there are snakes in the video,
What?
Yeah, Slash has snakes.
Of course.
and there's a lot of women that are in bikinis.
And Axel is doing a lot of,
the Axel dance.
if you
Yes.
could see us
Hip
right now, we're
gyrating
doing it.
from side to side.
Yeah, that's
So
a good one.
Ruck, you've never heard of Patience?
No, I haven't.
This is why I love it.
I
I
know.
think this podcast right now could go to a different level when we talk about the songs, even not the albums, but even the songs.
I know. It turns out that we just went down a rabbit hole yesterday, and
And
we
it's
it
I
was
can't
like
wait.
couldn't believe how many songs were from 1988. You were born in a great year, Ruck.
Yes.
Yeah. I know.
I mean, that could be a top 5 year.
How about Living Color? Living Color, Vivid. Was that the one with Cult of Personality?
Yes. One of the greatest guitar solos I've ever heard.
And their singer is Glover, not Crispin Glover.
I don't know.
I want to say Corey Glover. Can you fact check that for us, Ruck?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay, so you just pulled that one out.
Yeah.
I'm going to say OU812 Van Halen.
Van Halen. Did that have When It's Love?
I believe.
I think
finished
it
what
did.
you started,
Okay.
which was, a different time. You had Sammy
Mm-hmm.
instead of David. We're trying to work through some things.
Okay, I've got another one for you. And this, I know this is going to come up when we talk about songs from 88 more than albums, but when I think of MTV in 88, he's the DJ, I'm the rapper.
Is that like a song? What is that?
Album, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
That's before Will Smith was slapping Jamie Foxx on stage.
I just read something that they've been separated for 8 years.
Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff?
No, and Jada, his wife.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that
by
might
the
be something
way,
for the secret podcast.
Okay.
back with Living Keller, it was Corey Glover. Corey?
I think eventually I came around to Corey after Crispin.
I think.
I already don't remember.
Yep.
I will
got one
admit
more.
though,
Oh,
I do not recall any songs by
that
Living
we're
Colour.
talking about.
Living Color. I have no idea.
You
Have
would
I ever heard
Cult
that?
recognize-
Cult of Personality.
Yeah, you'd recognize Cult of
Oh.
Personality.
Here. Okay, you're gonna make fun of me for this, so I'll tell you this because that's what you want.
Yeah.
You know how I know this song, Cult of Personality? Guitar Hero. That's
Oh, yeah.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You probably did really well on it
yeah.
because it.
I'm gonna push
went
my
through-
glasses up as I say that.
All right, I got one more.
Okay.
In Excess, Kick,
In Excess was really good.
New Sensation, Never Tear Us Apart. Like,
Oh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Ruck, In Excess.
Well, what is that?
They came up in our Australian
Yes,
Show.
they're one of the famous Australian bands.
Michael
what el-
Hutchins.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what
I
other song?
Haven't heard of
their first album, Suicide Blonde. Maybe not their first album. Do you remember they had a song?
I remember Suicide Blonde. I have no
But
idea.
New Sensation was a big thing. They were huge on MTV. So a lot of what Pat and I are going to do through our songs is our lens of MTV.
So you can kind of remember a lot of these videos.
Yeah, because we watched the videos.
Yeah, I watched MTV. It wasn't as big of a thing.
But you didn't watch MTV in 1988 like we did.
I mean, I don't think that my parents had me on the couch with them watching MTV, but I cannot confirm. I do remember when I got home from elementary and middle school, we would throw the MTV on and watch TRL.
This is way before that.
So how did MTV work in the day? Was there a time where they would just show any videos? It was just videos. And that's it.
It was pretty much just videos. And I was on a trip this summer where I was in a hotel, and they had a station that it was like old school MTV. They just played videos
That's it.
Yeah.
And then would they have the guy interrupt with news, or is that only later
They'd
on?
have VJs.
Kurt Loder would come on and like tell you the tragic news of the day.
but then you have like downtown Julie Brown.
She's
like
still on Sirius XM.
No, they have like 4 guys.
Yeah.
On Sirius Satellite that are still doing all of that.
So you could just sit there and watch, and it was like hope your favorite video would come on.
Okay.
And then it would.
So The Boss was big
Yeah.
in like 86.
It was amazing.
So in some ways, not really too much different than if you were listening to radio, that you're sort of like, well, I hope they play my song. From that standpoint.
It's almost like the new version of our YouTube where you just play a video.
Yeah.
It was just that all the day.
But in YouTube, you get to choose what you want, whereas it's just rolling up.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe it's like Sirius XM.
But it was like the perfect medium to where, like, if you're just hanging out
Oh, yeah.
at home with whoever, your girlfriend or with a bunch of friends or whatever, doing homework, because you really didn't have to watch it.
Well,
It was just kind of on.
so
But
then,
didn't we have a top 3 MTV videos last season?
We did. Yeah.
So that's where like Aha and like Money for Nothing, where you're looking at like animation with a video and watching it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
so then, I mean, would you potentially say at a house party, just throw the TV on, hooked up to a hi-fi,
Yes.
and you just have MTV, and that's what
That
you're
was our
listening to?
Spotify.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you would watch you would watch it too.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, like, at midnight on weekends, Headbangers Ball would come on.
That's only hard rock, hard
So
metal.
is Metallica included in that or no?
Yeah, but Metallic was like a crossover.
Oh,
You could be
either.
They'd be on Headbangers Ball, but you might be sitting there and see one come on.
Yeah. Wow. I had no idea.
It was. I think every time of life is great in its own way, but that was a really great time.
Do you have 1 or 2 more albums?
Well, I was going to go through and just list some that maybe aren't some of my favorites, but that came out in '88. Just take a little walk down memory lane. You had the soundtrack to Dirty Dancing.
Wow.
Don't sleep on that.
I mean, I haven't seen that, so.
I think the number one song in 1988 was Faith.
Yes.
George Michael.
George Michael,
Oh.
he went
Okay.
he went solo.
Hold on, Ruck. I'm going to rewind a little bit. Did you just say you haven't seen Dirty Dancing?
That's affirmative.
Have you seen Ghost?
No.
So you've seen one movie from Patrick Swayze.
I mean, unless he's been in other things like Point Break.
Roadhouse,
Point Break.
Okay, you've seen 2.
Do we need to do a top 3 Patrick Swayze movies?
Yes.
Ooh, I like
You
that.
got Red Dawn,
I haven't seen the original Red Dawn.
The Outsiders.
What?
I've seen The Outsiders. He's in The Outsiders?
Yeah,
Yes.
he played Derry.
Not Derry. Not
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
That was a great cast.
It's a great cast, and I thought it was a great movie. And then if you read the book, the movie's not nearly as good as you would hope that it would have been.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
U2, Rattle and Hum.
Oh my gosh.
Desire was their song.
Oh, okay.
And Bon Jovi, which their titled album was New Jersey. So Bad Medicine. And then their ballad, I'll Be There For You.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Well,
good one.
these 5 words, I swear to you. We've got Tiffany with her self-titled debut album. That might have been her only album.
So Ruck doesn't know who Tiffany is or Debbie Gibson.
Okay, Ruck. I'm gonna give you a quick overview of Tiffany, red-haired gal who got famous singing cover songs in shopping malls.
Wow. And
Debbie Gibson.
But
You've
like-
never heard of these women.
no, I don't know. Like she got famous and then like joined a band,
And
that's
then-
how we know
no,
her?
No,
then,
she
like-
was a single, and then MTV took it over, and she is the new version of like Britney Spears. Like she's the old version of Britney Spears, like those two people.
What
and
was
like
her big
Christina
one?
Aguilera.
What's her big one? I think we're alone now.
I think I'm alone now.
Yeah,
Oh, I've heard that.
yeah. But that's a cover. Somebody else. Yeah.
Oh.
And Debbie Gibson,
Oh, so she literally got famous like through MTV
Yes.
just singing covers.
yes, in like '88.
So according to Ranker.com, Tracy Chapman was also
Fast Car.
Fast Car. Yep.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had the Bad album.
Wow.
Wow.
How have we also not said NWA Straight Outta Compton?
Oh,
We're
that's
we're
been-
getting there.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Rock?
Steve Winwood, roll with it.
Well, the problem for me is that I look at these and I recognize some of the bands, but I don't know if that was a very good album of theirs because for most of my life I didn't pay attention to albums. It was I listened to individual songs. Like I grew up with Napster, LimeWire stuff where you stole all
So
the
you
music.
stole everything.
Yeah.
So between Swap and I, Cinderella, Long Cold Winter.
That's Cinderella was huge then, but they have been. I think the test of time has left them extremely underrated. Cinderella could write songs.
Now,
The lead singer's name?
Tom Kiefer, he still tours.
Wow.
And he can still hit those notes.
And one song that I loved, even though I don't like him, is Bobby Brown.
Oh yeah,
Don't Be Cruel.
I
I don't know if he was with Whitney Houston.
don't think he was at the time, but I kind of like that song too.
Don't be cruel.
don't. Yeah, every time you hear that, you're like, I know all the words to this, and
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to admit it.
Yeah, and Rock doesn't know it. Ever heard of Bobby Brown?
no, you can tell that look on my face.
How about was Rock Set in 1988?
You've got the look.
Oh,
Nope.
Great video. MTV
Yes.
video.
so this is another thing, Ruck, about MTV is all these wide variety of genre, and you would be exposed to music that, like, we knew metal, we knew like whatever Rock Set was that like dance music of some
Oh, yeah,
sort?
and you're like, who is this? And they're like, oh, this song's awesome.
And
You've got
Tiffany, the little
look.
girl singing in a mall, all this stuff we kind of knew.
And then you get like Bon Jovi, Metallica, Guns N' Roses.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a bunch more listed there that I've heard of these bands, and you can just tell me if these albums were actually good. I think this first one is Pixies, Surfer Rosa.
Yeah.
No? Were you guys not Pixies guys?
I
we
was not a
weren't. I
Pixie
wasn't
guy.
back in the
Okay.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic Youth.
Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Daydream Nation. Queensryche.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a band that was a big deal. Operation
was.
Mindcrime.
Queensryche was big, and I think there's a Queensryche story for the Secret podcast.
Yes.
You guys don't strike me as REM guys.
I was. You know what? I was in the mid '90s. I went to an REM concert at the Gorge.
Wow.
What's Your Frequency, Kenneth? Have you remember that song?
Yeah.
No.
So they were they were odd.
They were.
Yeah, I get this sort of like Bare Naked Ladies vibe that as far as like Swap really disliking REM.
So if REM was like, I don't remember like the old days when you had record players and you had different sizes and you had to play them at different speeds. But the Bare Naked Ladies sounds like REM on like the wrong speed. Like they're 1.75 times too fast and their voices are too high. But that's how they actually talk. And I'm going to say again, like I did last year, Bare Naked Ladies are the Wiggles for adults.
They get a 0.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Ruck is trying to
What are you
reach
doing?
for
I'm trying to help you. You're banging your
No,
beer
it's fine.
on
I'm waiting.
an
Hey, we have a
entertainment
break
system to
we
try
have
to
a- we
open
have-
it.
It's not an entertainment system, but we have
Well, there's nothing on it. That's why.
a break coming soon.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
goodness, because you're about
Okay.
to break
Yeah,
table.
it's like an entertainment system that's mostly made of glass.
Whatever.
And there's just this banging over there where I'm not sure if it's about to shatter.
And it is serving
my
as an
gosh.
entertainment system right now because I'm entertained watching Mr. Morgenthaler try to open a Pacifico.
Any other albums?
I think we've covered it. We're gonna
For albums.
for albums.
And then we're going to go into just a few minutes of songs.
Yeah.
Oh. So tell me about these. Oh, you're going for top 40 songs. Is that what we're going to
Well,
next?
just a few songs.
Okay. Who's
So
going first?
I'll start with the band Kix.
The Kicks.
Yeah.
Kix, Kix. Don't Close Your Eyes.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Oh my gosh. It's one of my favorites.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to listen to it.
So Patience for me is number one.
Whoa, starting with your number one in the top 40.
Well, for me, I mean,
So the song that I hadn't heard of from GNR is your best one.
yes. Well, for this year.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
when you
you've heard
think
of it.
about, it's amazing. And then you watch the video. So that's the whole thing. I'm looking at it through the lens of these songs of MTV. And when you watch Slash with his guitar on a bed, and there's like pythons,
Yeah.
and there's other people in the room.
Well, I mean, you know, from my perspective, when you are listening to all this music from the past, you tend to go to the greatest hits and kind of get that stuff. And your perspective is not all those greatest hits were out, possibly. And so you listen to a new album that comes out and you listen to the whole thing. And so you get to hear all those jewels that are buried there in that album.
Yep.
So it makes sense that you would know some really quality songs that I'd have no idea about.
So I want you to listen to Patience tonight.
You know the song. I want you to watch the video tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's going to take you back to 1988 and you'll understand a little bit about the world in which you were born into.
Yeah, that'd be important.
So I have one more. Well, just the whole Def Leppard Hysteria album. There's 7 songs on there.
That are legit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I listened to that and I listened to Appetite for Destruction the entire calendar year of 1988
Yeah.
on a cassette tape.
Now, Hysteria, I'm gonna make probably an idiot of myself asking this question, but like Hysteria is a different album than like Photograph.
Yes.
Right?
So Photograph was more, I think, their early 80s and more of trying to be the hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went to, the ballad like Hysteria,
A little more poppy.
Poppy,
Yeah.
Love Bites. I think Pour Some Sugar on Me was on that album.
But Love Bites just, man, that is so emotive. There's so much feel.
And
to
I
that.
mean, I'm in 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah,
listening to this.
You were thinking about all your crushes that you were leaving behind, and
Tens of millions of boys listened to that song and they thought that it meant exactly what they were dealing with.
yes,
And then swaps in like sophomore year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like sophomore, junior year for me. That was great times. Hey, can I throw out Danzig, Mother?
oh, I know that one. That's
yeah,
a
you
great
do.
song.
Isn't that
yeah.
a great song?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good song when one of us randomly starts singing.
Yeah.
And I don't do that.
You know what, though? I may have been originally introduced to it on Guitar Hero, but since then, just listen to it. 'Cause it's
So
good.
I believe that the lead singer that's his last name.
His last name is Danzig.
Yes. I just saw
No,
a
I think you're
photo
right.
with
100%.
him.
Yeah.
So when I look at MTV, this is going to make, whatever. But Billy Ocean, Get Out of My Dreams.
And Into My Car.
Yeah, Get Into My Car.
Do you have any idea what we're talking about,
That
Rob?
sounds familiar.
And it was a video that everyone watched, and he's like, oh, yeah, they love it.
I mean, that makes sense. Get out of my dreams and into my car.
We have, can I just name some songs just to I'm going to. I Hate Myself for Loving You. Joan Jett.
Heard it.
Kokomo.
The Beach or
The Beach Boys.
Beach Boys.
It
I was
was
going to
from
say
the
the
mo-
Bee Gees.
It was from the movie Cocktail.
Yes,
With Tom Cruise.
yeah.
As a flashy bartender.
That's like a top 5 song from that year.
Yeah.
That's how I think that song is awful. Even though it's catchy.
It's kind of catchy.
It's catchy,
I
but
don't love it. And the Beach Boys, I do love some of their older stuff, but Kokomo, not so much. I remember seeing the movie Cocktail at the Circus Drive-In.
Now, is that Tom Cruise?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Okay. Yeah, haven't seen it.
White Lion.
Wait.
Wait.
Oh.
Wait.
Haven't heard it.
White Snake. Is This Love?
Oh, yeah. I love
Was
White
Tawny
Snake.
still there for Is This Love?
I don't think so. I think she was one album previous to that because I think she was like 86, more like my freshman year.
So F the Police, Straight Outta Compton.
Yep.
Let me throw this one at you. Milli Vanilli.
Girl, You Know It's True?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard a single thing by Milli Vanilli. It's just such a prolific sounding name. I've obviously
Do you
heard
even
of the
know
name.
the history of Milli Vanilli?
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
This is getting even better.
Ruck.
We might need a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have a break and come back and share the history of Milli Vanilli with Ruck?
All right. Listeners, we're going to take a break right now, and we are going to come back after our hosts have changed their drawers because they're so excited right now to tell me all about Milli Vanilli. Welcome back to the View from the Rock podcast. I'm your host, Ruck, and we just took a short little break here to get our story straight about Milli Vanilli, a band that I've heard of, but I'd never actually heard any of their music. And now I'm ready on air to be told what I don't know. What is the story of Milli Vanilli, Swap?
So Milli Vanilli was a European duo. One, I believe, was named Millie, and the other Vanilli. That part could be false. But they were two very good-looking young African-American men with
Danced well?
danced well, phenomenal kind of dread-locked hair, maybe with some like beads and things in them.
Yep.
And they had hits. I'm going to name some of their hits, and they might ring a bell. You had Girl, You Know It's True.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, that's the one. You had Baby, Don't Forget My Number. I mean, these songs,
God.
for those of us,
Like,
like these were big.
MTV, like
Songs.
MTV Legends.
Blame It on the Rain. You got to blame it on something.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to blame it on something.
Oh,
Blame it on the rain.
yes.
How about this one?
No way. There's that many?
Girl, I'm going to miss you. Okay. So then it came out that they were not only lip syncing at their concerts, which probably happens more than we want to admit, they weren't even the real singers of their own stuff.
No way.
Yes.
How could you get so far? I mean, that just means there's some producer out there that
I mean,
coordinated the whole thing.
They probably made a couple $1 million and then had to
Keep it.
Well,
Probably.
well, maybe.
well, and like, how ugly were the people then that were singing that they couldn't have just gotten on there and been the stars of the show?
Well, Milli Vanilli, they were really good-looking guys.
They're
I mean,
probably
There's
just-
other bands though that have gone through this.
So they probably just
Yeah.
found a couple models and said, "Hey, you guys can dance. Let's do this."
I think that's pretty much what happened.
So do you remember it's not 88 but in the early 90s it's like something in the Music Factory?
CNC Music Factory?
Yes. So they're one of those people didn't sing.
Well, I'll tell you, Milli Vanilli, I just named 4 songs that tens of millions of 50-year-old men in America know.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling. I
Yeah.
heard none of those songs.
Okay,
Well,
a couple more.
Yeah, we have some top songs to go over. So let's
Well,
wrap
Rick
it up.
Astley. So Ruck knows this song.
Yeah, the Rickroll song.
What is it?
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah. That was 1988.
Yeah.
And now he's killing it.
So that was the number 4 single on the Billboard list at the end of 1988.
Wow.
What else you got on that top 10 real quick? Swap.
Okay, so I'm going to go number 1, Faith, George Michael. I like the Limp Bizkit version better. Number 2, Need You Tonight, In Excess. Number 3, Ruck. I bet you've heard this one. Got My Mind Set on You, George Harrison.
No.
Maybe, do you know the Weird Al version of it?
What is it?
This song is just 5 words long or something like that.
I don't even know if I know that one.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
4,
funny.
like Mr. Morgenthaler said, is Never Gonna Give You Up. Number 5, Sweet Child of Mine.
I heard that one. Got it.
Okay. 6, Whitney Houston, So Emotional.
Yep.
Oh, I get so emotional, baby.
Every time I think of you.
Wow.
Oh,
It's like a little concert I've going
Oh,
on
you
here
know
for
what?
me.
If we studied this hard with school in terms of music,
I'd be a dentist.
I'd be
7, Heaven is a Place on Earth, Belinda Carlisle.
I've heard that one.
That's a good tune.
and she was in the Go-Go's, correct?
I think she was a go-go, but I get the Go-Go's and Bangles mixed up.
She was a Go-Go.
Okay, and Susanna Hoffs was a Bangle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Walking on.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Walk Like an Egyptian.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah. Oh.
Who did Walking on Sunshine? Was that Katrina and the Waves?
I do not know.
I don't know that one. I know that song. I don't know who sang
I
it.
think, will you fact check that for us, Mr. Ruckdashel?
Yes, sir.
Okay, number 8 was a Tiffany song. Could have been. I can't place that one. Number 9 was Breathe, Hands to Heaven.
What?
I can't place that song. Number 10, I can. Steve Winwood, Roll With It.
Heard of
Roll
Steve
with,
Winwood.
Roll
Haven't
with
heard
it,
that
baby.
Yeah, and Steve Winwood, he's had a long, distinguished career.
So, according to the Google, Walking on Sunshine, it says 1983 that it was released by Katrina and the Waves. Now, it could be that Walking on Sunshine was a cover that year that was then re-released, because that would end up being on the charts and be a top 10 song.
I think Swap was trying to say walk like an Egyptian.
I
and he
was.
said
Oh.
walk like.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's
well,
why. Yeah.
I know that that's the Bangles.
Yes, but I think that song is like 87 maybe, because there was a Bangle song in 88
So
that we talked about.
Hazy Shade of Winter.
Yes.
I think that was a cover
Okay.
of maybe. You can fact check this for me, Ruck. It might have been a Simon and Garfunkel song.
Hazy Shade of Winter.
Yeah.
Well, first, Walk Like an Egyptian is the Bangles, and it's 1986.
Ooh.
Yeah. So 1988 was a Bangle song. For sure.
Pops up here, Hazy Shade of Winter, sung
Yes.
by the Bangles.
Yes.
Was it a cover?
You know, I can keep trying to find that one.
We are down a rabbit hole. I'm just gonna keep going down this list. Stop me when I get too far. 11, One More Try by George Michael. 12, you're gonna love this one. Wishing Well, Terrence Trent D'Arby.
Oh, that
was a great song.
Oh my God, that was a great video.
Yeah,
Like that played every day.
and that's one where Terrence Trent D'Arby is a talented human being.
You know, you can keep going as long as you want to, but as far as being down a rabbit hole, I stopped knowing what any of the words were that we were saying about 10 minutes ago. You give me 5 more.
Okay, keep going.
5 more.
5 more.
I'll
and
give
then
you
I got,
5.
And I
I'll
got
give you
2.
5 more. So I left off at Terrence Trent D'Arby. Number 13, Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine, Anything for You. 14, Cheap Trick, The Flame. And 15, the aforementioned Get Out of My Dreams and Into My Car, Billy Ocean.
Yeah, talked about it.
Beautiful.
Hey, so these are a couple for our lady listeners. Maybe if you remember these, Jody Watley.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
You Want Me? The video, like MTV, was
Yeah.
amazing, and just tried to show Ruck this one at the break. Pebbles Mercedes boy. I mean, amazing videos when you're 12 to 16.
Hey, and as I get further down this list, special shout out for Angel by Aerosmith, Steven Tyler on the white piano.
Oh, yeah.
Don't Worry, Be Happy, Bobby McFerrin, and Red Red Wine, UB40.
So I give both of those zeros.
Well, they were part of the fabric of America in 1988.
I know.
Year
Zero.
in which our co-host was born.
Don't worry, be happy. Zero.
Wow. Well, you know, most of those songs I've never heard, and it's probably going to stay that way. But thanks for educating me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Wow.
What? Wow.
I'm looking at this list, and it's
It's amazing.
The gift that keeps giving.
1988. Good for your parents. That was a great year.
When's your birthday, Ruck?
Well, January. So
Okay.
1987 was probably a better year for them.
Bada boom.
So we're going to transition right there to our beer of the week. Our beer of the week, I think, has a little backstory with it. It's the Sophia Fresh Hop IPA by Stemma Brewing. And this was not brought to us by a loyal listener. But speaking of loyal listeners, before we dive into our beer of the week, just want to shout out our sponsors every week. And that is Sign Dog.
Special shout out to Sign Dog. He
Sign
might
Dog.
Yeah. Can we say this?
No.
Okay.
Well, we
I
love
hope
Sign
you-
Dog.
Sign Dog, we love you.
Yeah, love them. Like it just, every time we do this podcast, I'm staring at the beautiful banner that is adorning the Yellow Dog Studios.
And
And
real
number
quick,
2, we have a special shout out for our sponsor that Swap and myself happen to show up wearing the hats to, and that's Merle Inc.
and I actually talked to him today.
And we wish him well.
Yeah, he's doing good. And hopefully soon we'll have an update on our second sponsor.
Like
A new banner
Oh,
in
wow.
here.
Okay.
A
I can't
Merle
wait.
Inc. A Merle Inc. banner.
Okay. Nice.
I
So-
can hardly wait.
Yeah. You guys want to tell me about this beer because I believe that you got it for us and you've got some story to tell.
Well, we went up to the Anacortes Sea home football game on Saturday. We had a nice car ride up with a couple of our boys. Mrs. Swap made the trip up, and we were up there early enough to grab a bite to eat and a couple beers. So we went to Stemma Brewing Company. Shout out to Stemma Brewing Company. My
Yes.
first time there. We said up there numerous times, Anacortes needs a place like that where you can eat inside, you can eat outside. There's food trucks, there's dogs. We need a place like that.
All ages.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one, but it's not where they have. It's different. Bellingham is awesome.
If we didn't live in the greatest place on earth, Bellingham is top 5.
I mean, could you imagine how great this place would be, though, if we had some places like Stemma here?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And they have, 3 food trucks now that are permanent.
So we went to the grilled cheese food truck. And it was amazing. Amazing.
It's really...
When Rowan tells Pat what to order.
Yeah.
Isn't it just mind-boggling how much better grilled cheese is at these fancy grilled cheese places than you'd make at home? Like, I make a better burger, I feel like, than I get most of the time at a place. Grilled cheese? No.
So this grilled cheese was, Ruck, I know you probably have a fancy word for this, but when they do the grilled cheese and at the end they throw cheese on the outside of the bread, so it makes that little extended crusty cheesy thing.
They would
What's
call
the
them
name
like
for that?
cheese lace wings. It's cheese lace and then they're wings. So cheese wings.
Yeah, because there were wings all over our plate.
Yeah. So I got one that had like candied bacon in it.
You're looking
funny.
at me like I'm some sort of
No.
savant here.
Oh my God. Well, it's true. Like, I would have never said that. I'm like, yeah, it's just cheese that's cooked.
On the outside.
Yeah.
So I had one that had like candied bacon and pesto maybe, and then a bunch of cheese.
Yeah, you need some strong flavors to cut through all that cheese. So pesto or candied bacon.
How about Rowan?
Rowan and Brady got it was like a pepperoni pizza inside
Yes.
a grilled cheese.
Yes.
That's brilliant.
Oh, and like Rowan won't eat a grilled cheese at Ghirardelli.
It's not
And
his
he just-
standard.
And that's the second time he mowed through it.
And then what did you have?
Just the traditional. I'm still sore.
Because the braces were tightened last week.
Yes.
And then Mrs.
I'm
Swap.
pissed off right now.
Oh,
Because they went hard on the bottom,
yeah.
and so I got a canker sore.
Oh, man. Back in the day, didn't they give you wax?
Yeah, but I'm too tough for that.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey, Ruck, you can suck it.
Hey, I'm not the one who's sore from going too hard in the bottom. So.
But just. Oh, wow.
So can you tell me about this beer? Some details, the nitty gritty.
Well, so we went in there. We wanted to get an IPA, and I went in and ordered the number 9 off their menu, and the guy said, "Get a fresh hop." It's the number 3, and then, I said, "Do you have that to go?" And he said, "No, but we have this fresh hop in a can." So this is the Sophia fresh hop. Do you want to read what we have written down on that?
So again, from Bellingham, you go off I think it's Iowa State Street exit.
Yeah, it's the exit to Bellingham High School, but instead of going west, you go east.
And to go straight, it's awesome. 6.5 ABV. There's only 10 ratings on Untapped with a 3.9. So it's a family-run brewery, craft with character. The Sophia Fresh Hop IPA is a collaboration with Overflow Taps and Linden.
And we've been there.
That's weird.
I've never heard of that place.
That's weird.
So we've been to 3-on-3 tournaments
Oh,
there.
that's right. Is that the tap house?
Yeah, right there right downtown. It's a good
Yeah,
spot.
It is.
Is that like the only brewery in Linden? It's got to be.
There's some good spots there. And I'm not sure it's a brewery. I think it's just kind of a tap house.
Oh,
good spots meaning 2?
Well, not as many good spots as there are in, say, Anacortes within a 2-block
I would
radius.
imagine they frown on taverns and breweries and tap houses there, right?
I'm not sure what goes on up there other than a whole lot of winning.
And no mowing on Sundays.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's BS now.
The mowing,
Yeah.
but not the winning.
I mean, I've driven up a lot of times, and I've seen a lawn that's over like whatever they think needs to happen in Linden.
Yeah.
I mean, we might need to get Andy Moore on.
Profound.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So Andy Moore is a Anacortes legend,
Okay.
and he lives in Linden.
He's gone to the dark side.
Does he have like the all-time rushing
He did.
record for a
Yes.
career?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a single season from what I hear though, right?
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was a great athlete.
Okay.
And he
So now he lives in Linden.
went to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it supports the Sophia Milstead Foundation. It looks like they had a big fundraiser in September. So you can purchase beer, and it leads to a small donation to the foundation.
Beautiful. Let's give it a little taste. Wow. I can smell that immediately when I open it. That is some fresh hop.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You know, when you describe beers, this already smells like it's a danky beer, a dank beer.
So is it okay if I pour it in a glass?
Yeah, go
Will
for
it
it.
change?
Probably, but probably for the better. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what the IBUs and some of that stuff are. And it's not super bitter, but it has so much hop flavor. It's crazy.
They didn't say.
That's a good beer, and it's a good brewery. That's we need on the Instagram. We need to tag them.
Hey, shout out to my niece Reese. She's in charge.
She's running the socials.
Yeah, would love to see more up there. Gosh, man, it is like
Reese.
I don't know if I'd say it's like grassy. It's not grassy in a bad way. You get all of the all of the hop. You can taste every single leaf of the hop. Wow.
That's a good beer.
That might be the biggest head I've seen on a beer there, J-Dog.
That's my worst pour ever.
you get F.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
get
beer.
zero.
That
It
is.
is. It's a great beer.
This is one of the best beers I think that we've had here as one of our beers.
It's one of those beers that I don't think I'd really want a second because there's a lot going on in my mouth when I drink one.
I think I would have. That's what she said.
Okay, thanks. Cool.
Sorry.
What do you guys think of the beer?
I think I would have 2.
I think I would have 3. I think it's really good.
I think it's really good too. I just feel like my mouth would be very fatigued by it.
Oh my God. And you're born in 1988. You're, I'm going to say this. You're kind of a little pussy.
Stop. What I meant to say was my flavor, I would be overwhelmed with flavor at that point.
No, I think it's a
With
really
2?
it's a really good beer.
I might
If
be.
we're at a bar?
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't get another one, but the second one, I just don't know if I'd taste it as much. The taste buds would be on overload.
I think it's a really good beer.
Oh, I'm excited.
I agree.
Yeah.
On the record, I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah. But just, you wouldn't get a second.
Like, Kokanee, Rainier, however many. That one? 1, maybe 2. Good call on that beer, though. That's excellent. So we had our final segment coming up here. Are we rolling straight into the greatest UW Husky football players of all time? I think we are. Does someone want to start us off? And, of course, I would just say that we are, of course, choosing this is our top 3 this week because of the so hyped up UW Oregon matchup. We want to bask in our glory before we create some new legends here. Who wants to lead us off?
I can lead us off. And again, what a big week this is.
Biggest of all time in the 120 years.
How long is the rivalry? Should I look that up?
Did you get your braces tightened?
You just did what I did.
Dude, I do that.
Hey, I'm just saying. You made fun of me last week.
Was that the same word? You
Yes.
did that?
Yes.
A rivalry.
And you did, yes.
I need to work on
It's
my
hard. It's a
elocution.
hard word.
I mean, I would do that during class too. I have a hard time pronouncing stuff. Anyways,
So I
Swap.
think it's the first time ever that both teams are ranked in the top 10 in the nation.
Yeah, and
can't
both
confirm.
undefeated.
Yes.
Um,
And both hate each other. We didn't talk about early on, like in the shout outs. I hate Oregon more than any other person in the world. And I hate Oregon more than Seahome.
that's a lot. Yeah. I looked up online and this rivalry has been. I'm gonna control
What
myself.
else?
This rivalry has been going on since 1900 is when we started
Okay.
it. So 123 years. Don't know if there were any years in there that were skipped, but it started 123 years.
so
ago.
for the first 90 of those 100 and however many years, the Huskies absolutely dominated.
Oh,
And then Kenny Wheaton.
yes.
Well,
We don't talk. Yes.
We don't need to revisit that.
No.
no.
So I do have something funny to say. I'm going to look at it. This is from Kirk Herbstreit. Ducks are the college football version of Paris Hilton. They're famous for no reason. They look pretty, and they got a rich daddy.
I think that's
It's valid.
And guess what?
Yeah.
They can suck it. I hate them more than anything else in my life.
Wow.
shout out to John Richards, the only Oregon Duck fan
know.
that I like.
God, I love you.
All right. Hey, let's dive in this top 3. Swap,
Okay.
lead us off.
I'm going to go with number 3, Warren Moon. Oh, you know what? Our top threes could all be the same.
They can be.
Yeah.
Warren Moon, when Don James came, they won their first Rose Bowl with Warren Moon at the quarterback. One of the great quarterbacks of all time in football.
Houston Oilers, 2 after he left. Oh, he was
A Canadian Football League legend.
yes, and then had
Edmonton
40,000 passing yards.
Yeah.
And happened to also have quite the good career with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah. He had a 20-year NFL career after a semi-short, maybe 4 or 5 years in the CFL. And yeah, the biggest win in the Don James era, the one that kicked it off, was winning the Rose Bowl against Michigan, and that was led by Warren Moon. He's my number 3.
Ruck.
You ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. You know, I just wanted to make sure that we established that University of Washington, when they've been at their best, they've been at their best because of their linemen. And so, number 3 here, I'm going to go ahead and put in Lincoln Kennedy.
Oh,
yeah.
Lincoln
So
Kennedy. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, you know, he was a giant man, 6'6", 356. He would go on to an illustrious NFL career. He was a first-round pick, played for the Falcons, Raiders, and, you know, you may not know this, but he actually played in the Arena Football League for the Tampa Bay Storm. 3 years. Before that, though, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler. He was first-team All-Pro in 2002. And I think, you know, he was probably a great, like, guy in the community, too. Like,
He's
from
a
all
legend.
accounts, he is a good human being. Maybe a broadcaster now, even.
Yep. So 7 years ago, maybe, my sister got my dad and I tickets to UW basketball, and Lincoln Kennedy is sitting right there, right in front of us. And I go, Dad, hey, you're sitting with a legend. He's like, who? I'm like, right here. So he shook hands with him. It was awesome because we have a poster in our office.
We do.
Bad to the bone.
Yep. It's the greatest poster in the history of sports.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I had it not framed, but
Matted?
maybe with a little, yes,
Sure.
15, 17 years ago. So I love that. So my number 3 is Napoleon Kaufman.
Yep.
So I have a different story though, because when I was in high school, my girlfriend went to UW, and best friends with our loyal listener Ross Metcalf. So I got to experience stuff that no one else got to experience, and he was on my girlfriend's floor. And just watching him become an athlete as a freshman when I am 17 years old is amazing. Like he outrun the ball. Like he would outrun, like he was so good.
He's my number 2, Husky.
He was my number 2 as well.
Yeah, so we might as well just close the loop here.
Yeah.
he reminded the guy that reminds me the most of Napoleon Kaufman in the history of college football is Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
They both just seem to be like
They're at a different speed.
Just a different speed.
And he came from Lompoc.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was
Right,
looking
Rock.
up about him, Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year in 1994, was part of the Whammy in Miami, where we broke
Yes.
the 58-game win streak at home for Miami.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
never
they can
watching it.
suck it. God, they thought they were the best team. Do you know, Ruck, that real quick, we tied for the national title, Miami and us.
And that was the
91.
Jimmy Johnson Miami team?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe had
And then
Dwayne
that's-
The Rock Johnson on it. I don't know.
And then when we went there in 94?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just smoked their ass
And Dennis Erickson was coaching him then.
from Everett.
Oh, Dennis Erickson.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Everett, Washington.
correct.
Former Cougar coach and Beaver coach. Also, just some other tidbits, some details, some stats. He was drafted in the first round for Raiders. I don't think he did too much in the NFL. Decent. Like it says, career NFL statistics: 4,700 rushing yards. That's not terrible.
And I think he retired early because he became a man of God.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I know he only played 5 years.
No, that's why. 100% why.
I had no idea about that. Thinking though about college career, which is a little more important for this, he for 23 years was the all-time leading rusher in UW history, broken by.
Myles Gaskin,
Do you have any guesses?
No, I got one more.
Okay.
the guy before him. It
No,
was,
after
no.
Bishop Sankey.
You know, I
Chris
thought it was.
Polk.
Well, I think it's either Chris Polk or Myles Gaskin. It was right there in front of me, and now it's gone. I will make sure when we move on to our next one that I find that one out.
So it sounds like we're down to
I have-
ours.
no, I-
Mr.
no.
Morgenthaler's number 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was so hard. God, it was so hard. I'm going with Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Oh, that's good.
It is.
For me, it was
So,
between
because
him
I'm
and
like,
one.
hey, one of those three has to be a quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
In 2001,
Yep.
and he was the only guy ever with like a 300-yard passing, 200-yard rushing.
Yeah. So
I mean,
they won the Rose
family-
Bowl that year.
Yeah.
They were 11-1.
Yeah.
I think the end of the year ranked 3rd or 4th. I'm going off the top of my head right now. They were super close to being in the national championship conversation. Excuse me. And that was a Rick Neuheisel team. And Rick Neuheisel,
when he showed up.
it seems like Rick Neuheisel's kind of a punchline a little bit, but they went they
He does.
converted completely to an
You're
option
10,
team.
Ruck.
Middle of the year, they converted to an option team that year, and Tuiasosopo, like he would throw the ball 20 times and run the ball 20 times
Yeah.
and just get the crap beat out of him.
So then after him, was it Cody Pickett who came next?
And Cody Pickett threw for
Because
a
that's
ton
why
of
they
yards.
continued kind of with the option
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
Because he was a cowboy from Wyoming, right?
Yeah,
Caldwell,
no,
Idaho.
he's from Idaho.
Oh, Idaho.
So
Okay.
actually, my best friend Zach Hall,
Yeah.
who we know, he listens. His insurance agent is Cody Pickett,
And he's coaching basketball now
Yes.
in Idaho.
girls' high school,
So he was from Caldwell, Idaho, which is
just outside of Boise.
just outside of Nampa.
Okay,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it back to me? Are we at number one? I don't want to say this number one. I shouldn't have went with this as number one. It should have just been my number 3. But here we are. I feel like I need to justify this number one before I even say it.
I like where you're going here.
This number
Love
one, for me, I played against. I was on the same football field as them. They were drafted in the first round with pick number 8. They currently have a fitness facility in Ferndale, Washington called the Locker Room, and it's Jake Locker.
I have no problem with that at all.
So I didn't realize that, but he was freshman All-American 2007, Pac-10 Freshman of the Year. Now,
And he was there in the dark years.
well, he was part of the team that didn't win a game, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that's not really on him. I think by the end of his career, Tyrone Willingham had really done a number on that team. I met Tyrone Willingham when I was at camp there. Super nice guy, but I don't know. He seemed like he was maybe too nice.
Did you get invited?
I was on the
go?
Renegade team.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like the invites team where you go there and you just play with all the kids who don't have their team there.
All right.
It was fun. But then you'd have the real legit kids like Jake Locker show up like halfway through camp, and there was a real
You're like,
there was a
okay,
real
there's
aura about
difference.
them. Yeah. And you're like, well, maybe I'm not that big of a deal.
I've got no problem with that, number one.
No, I know.
But I bet you and I have the
love
same
him.
number one.
Like, Sam Guzik wants my Jake Locker jersey.
Oh, from the Titans?
Yeah. And I have, autographed Jake Locker jersey. Oh,
Why does Sam want that?
well, he just wants a different jersey.
Oh.
So I don't wear the Titan jersey. But
Yeah.
you know what? He's awesome.
Yeah,
Locker now is like great in the community.
he put his body on the line there. When there was a lot of games, they just were not going to win.
He was so fast.
And he could have gone anywhere in the country, and UW kind of sucked.
Do you remember when?
And he went to UW, and he kept him interesting during the bad years.
Absolutely.
So he could have left. Remember when Sam Bradford left?
Mm-hmm.
That was before the rookie contract. Jake could have had $60 million.
Oh,
Remember Bradford left
And he
from
stayed his
Oklahoma?
senior year.
Yeah, he stayed,
yeah.
and he
He was with Sark, and it
Yeah.
was the first year that Sark got us to a bowl game after the dark years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have left, and he would have been top 5.
He's a legend.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a legend.
I know. We might need to do one time top 3 UW quarterbacks ever.
There's going to be a lot left off this list that should have been on it, but there's a lot of great ones.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I know we have the same number 1.
I know. Go ahead.
Good. Can I guess?
Yeah.
And you're saying it's a quarterback then?
No.
No,
Oh.
he's not going to know.
Oh, so we're going with Steve Ettman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And okay, if you ask me who is the greatest college football player of all time, if you do not say Steve Entman, you're wrong.
He might be in the top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, do you think his legacy as a great college football player is increased by his lack of success in the NFL? Or was that mainly because of injuries at that point?
Yep. Injuries.
He was the most dominant college football player I've ever seen.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that when he's on your defense just made everybody else better. He was like what we see in Aaron Donald currently in the NFL.
Yeah.
But for UW, and he was a problem.
That's exactly right.
It was 2 people at all times, and they couldn't stop him.
Yeah. From Cheney.
That's right. I was gonna say, yeah, he was from the area.
Oh, yeah. And, he's number 1 for me, too. And I love him so much. I just feel bad because his rap and the pros, 2 knee injuries.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was a wash, and he was picked by the Colts.
Yeah,
When they
not a good
sucked.
team.
But he was so good. God, we were so good. Being a fan of the Husky football from 87 to 92 or 85.
I'm going to just go 77 to 95.
I used to come home from hunting with my dad, and we would listen to the radio game. UCLA was always good in the 80s.
Yeah. Terry Donahue. And we had season tickets. My dad and I. We'd go down.
So how many UW games have you been to?
100.
100 games.
Yeah.
I've been to 17 games. Ruck, how many games you been to?
I must have been to some. I'm having a hard time remembering though. Part of the issue is that it would have been when I was really young, when they were good, if I did go. And
with your parents?
Well, but they didn't really like to go to the games. So I might have went with a friend, I feel like.
So you
because
don't
we had
know how many games you've been to.
I mean, it's either 1 or 0 probably. Because when I was younger, we had season tickets to the Seahawks, and it was the year that they were in Husky Stadium. And so I've probably been there more for Seahawks than I was for Huskies.
So every game was at 12:30 back in the day.
Yeah?
You didn't have to wait for game times and
Pac-12
TV
at
times.
night?
Oh, yeah. No, there was no.
Every game was at 12:30.
There was no coverage. Yeah,
we'd
it was
leave
12:30.
We'd leave Anacortes at 8, park in the same spot every time, Eat.
You and your dad.
Yep, every time. Eat, go to the game, stop at the Mexico Cafe on the way home.
Every time.
Every single time. And
So-
it was the greatest day. If you are 11 years old, it is the greatest day you can ever dream of.
You know every time.
Was there
Yes.
always a place that you would stop and eat? Like, was it like Dick's? Did you go there?
No, we would go to like a bar in the U District and eat.
Yeah, I'm not someone to say, oh, that was the good old days, but there are things like that where I go, there was just less going on as far as that could entertain us and distract us from those kind of raw experiences that were an all day thing that you look back on now and say that was a real process getting down there. It was a real like method that we had of we'd eat first, we'd go to the game. It was all about the atmosphere. If you guys lost that day, it was one of the worst days of the week.
And getting to a Husky game is not easy.
No.
You have to know where to park and you have to walk. And it's the whole experience is really cool.
Yep.
We have spent a lot of times in the just tailgate area.
Yes. I haven't been down there since we went in the RV
Yeah.
with the Oregon boys. That was a legendary.
Are you
Huskies
still-
lost that night to Big Play VA.
Yeah.
Are you still allowed to tailgate?
Yes. So they have like 30 or no, I take that back, like 100 RV spots. So you can
How
go.
do you get those? Like, how do you get one? Is it like a sign up?
Thai club?
Oh, okay.
Like you're big, or you have someone that knows someone.
Bucket list item for me. I've never tailgated a football game.
Okay, I think we need to end the podcast right now.
So if you can make that happen, hey,
What the?
hey, it's something I
yes,
want to do just
will.
because I haven't.
Okay.
So
Hey, guess what?
if
We can
there's
tailgate the high school game.
that's the high school game.
Yeah,
of
at my
that-
house
no,
right now.
No,
So Friday night.
no, I'm not tailgating the high school game. I mean like a real game.
What?
We need to make that happen.
Yeah, we
So
will.
hey, if there's any loyal listeners that want to help make that happen, feel free. Let's do this.
And loyal
mailbag.
listeners, remember the mailbag. If you have anything you want to hear us talk about, any questions you might have, any opinions you want us to share, reach out to us. You know how to text us, email, or reach out on the interwebs, Twitter, Instagram. We have all the socials.
Keep telling everyone about the podcast and
Spread the word.
yep.
Love that. You guys, you handled the outro for me. I don't have to do anything now. It's like I don't have a job anymore. Yeah, just like they said, all the places is where you can find our podcast. And just a reminder, thank you to Sign Dog and Merle Inc. for being our sponsors. And we hope to see you soon. Might be a random podcast thrown in there. Take care. Stay safe.